Everybody, so as promised, we're outside here and I'm going to show you how to set up this reel and cast with it. All right, yeah, this is the reel that sits on top of the fishing rod handle, not underneath. So what's one of the first things you're going to do? Well, on this side you see the magnet brake dial or the inertia transfer brake setting. You're going to set that between 10 and 8. And I strongly recommend that you do not go over 8 because you want the assistance of the magnets and the inertia brake to help alleviate the backlashing that you will get when you're first learning to use this reel. So set that dial right away. I would suggest you put it on 10. As you get a bit used to it, you can bring it down to 8, but don't go over 8 until you feel really confident with your casting. Now, one of the other things that's very important is this knob right here. That is your line tension knob, and this is where this comes into play. You're going to have to set the tension on your line before you start casting, and you have to do this every time you change out a lure or any weight on the end of your line. Yes, I know it sounds, oh, do I really have to do this every time I set something up? I'm afraid you're going to, but once you get used to doing it, it'll be second nature, all right? Just takes a little practice. So you'll need to adjust the tension on the line through using this knob. Remember, lefty loosey, tighty righty, so that you end up with a controlled free fall of your lure or hooks or whatever weight you have at the end of the line. So I'm now going to switch the camera around so I can show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so at the end of my rod here, you see a little bit of red tape. I have a dipsy weight attached to the end, which I'm going to use as a lure for this demonstration. So when I make my adjustment to my line tension, I want a controlled free fall. So you see, there's my hand on the reel. I'm just going to leave my thumb very lightly on top of the line, and then I am going to depress the reel release. And that is a controlled free fall. Now, some anglers like it a little bit faster, but it's best when you're first starting out to have it at a controlled rate so that the line drops down evenly to the ground with the reel release off. That's what you're looking for. So to get that, you're going to twist that line tension knob back and forth, and you're going to use micro turns, all right, until you get to a point where you feel you have a controlled free fall for the baits or lures that you're using on this reel. Okay, so now we're going to set up and we're going to cast. Okay, so I'm going to take my time with my motions, so they're going to be very deliberate so you see what I'm doing. Notice I'm using two hands. Now, I do that because I find when I cast with a casting reel, my handle has a tendency to kick out. And you'll see that most anglers, when they use the bait cast, they will actually use two hands, one on the reel and the other one further down the handle. This just stabilizes the handle for when you're doing the cast. Notice in the capture that my thumb doesn't come up very much when I actually cast. This is very important. You've got to keep your thumb down if you want to control that spool, because it's still rotating even though that weight has already hit the ground. So there you go. Once you get the reel set up, it's actually quite simple. The trick is not to heave it out there, but to let the action of the fishing rod kick your lure forward. And also, remember, when you see the close-ups of my thumb on the spool, you'll see that the movement of my thumb is very subtle. One of the biggest mistakes that beginners make is they hold their thumb up too high. And then when the line starts moving forward, they then snap it down. But that's just enough time to create a backlash. So remember, practice patience and perseverance. Unfortunately, that's what it takes to use this reel, and it's not for everybody. But you never know. Give it a try. Once you master it, you'll find it a heck of a lot of fun. So this is Sharon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye for now.